Greetings, YouTube. The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons & Dragons. And today we were talking about the spell Conjure Animals during the Doctor Spell Prognosis. I am giving this spell an A+. It is almost on the virtual level, almost on the level of an S, which is superior. So, hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. All right. So it is a third level spell. It is usable because we're going to go all the way down here because there's a lot of text in this. It is usable by druids and rangers, just flat out druids and rangers. So not a lot of classes can use this. Druids, I think, get more use out of this than rangers do. So we're going to talk about how the spell works. We're going to talk about which animals are probably the better ones to use, and which druid subclasses are the best to use with this. Okay, so it takes one action, has a range of 60 feet, which is a great range. Verbal and somatic component, it lasts for an entire hour. It is a concentration spell. You do absolutely want to concentrate on this spell. And so there's some controversy in this spell as to what you can summon, and you're going to summon something. The controversy lies with whether you get to choose or the DM chooses. So you summon Fey spirits that take the form of beasts and appear in an unoccupied space that you can see within range. Choose one of the following options for what appears: 1, 2, 4, or 8 beasts depending on their challenge rating. So it's 8 beasts of a quarter rating, 4 beasts of half a rating, 2 beasts of a rating of 1, or 1 beast of a rating of 2. And there are some options to upcast this spell. They've got a table below that has sample creatures for each one of these challenge ratings, but those are samples. And the word sample means not the entire set. It means a choice of or subset of an entire set. So there are a lot more than there. So each beast is considered a Fey. It disappears when it drops to 0 or when the spell ends. The summoned creatures are friendly to you and your companions. You roll initiative for them as a group. That's broke part number 1. They have their own turns. That's broke part number 2. And they obey any verbal commands that you issue. No action required by you. That's broke part number 3. And when I say broke, that means that's what makes this spell an A+. You don't have to use an action to tell them what to do. They all go on one initiative, and they all have their own turn, which means they get a move action, they get an attack, they get an action, they get a move, and they get a reaction. And if they have bonus actions, they get those too. If you don't issue any commands to them, they defend themselves from hostile creatures, but otherwise take no actions. But it doesn't take you anything other than, say, go do this to make them do something. The GM has the creature statistics. Sample creatures can be found below. So, again, that doesn't say the GM picks them. So there is some controversy into, what you can do. Now, you can upcast this spell. When you cast the spell using certain higher level slots, you choose one of the summoning options above, and more creatures appear. So if you cast this as a 5th level spell, twice as many appear. If you cast this as a 7th level, 3 times as many appear. And if you cast this as a 9th level, 4 times as many appear. So if you cast this as a 9th level spell, you can make 32 quarter challenge rating or lower beasts appear. That's a lot. Now, one of the kind of limits of this spell is that you need to make sure that you have room to put all these creatures. If you're summoning 32 medium-sized creatures in a small 10-foot by 10-foot space, that's going to be hard to do. So you need to make sure that you have the room. And especially some of the challenge rating 1s and 2s are large, so you need to make sure you have the room for those as well. So here are the sample creatures. They go anywhere from a rhinoceros all the way down to a frog. I don't know why you would summon the 0 challenge rating creatures in combat, but maybe you want targets for things. Now, Casting spells on your creature is kind of hard because most of those types of spells require concentration, and so does this one. So you may not be making them better. Now, I have brought up the monster list, and I have brought up the monster list starting at challenge rating 1/8 creatures. So I do want to kind of go through them. Some of the ones that are on the list are camel, so you could give everybody a camel, giant crabs, giant rats, giant weasels, mastiff, poisonous snakes, pony sturge. But there's other ones in here like mountain goat. So mountain goats get a ram attack. They got a +4 to hit. If they charge, they do extra damage, and they could knock a creature prone. So there is that. Now, the reason I bring some of this stuff up, and I've played with some of this as a GM, and I've seen other GMs do different things. So a GM may say you are limited to the table of the sample creatures. A GM may say you can only pick a creature if you've seen it before. But once you've seen it, then you can summon it all the time. So there is that. So I would look through the list and kind of work with your GM on the best kind of administrative baseline rule system that you can come up with for these. But some of the things that you kind of want to look at, we're looking at the 4th challenge rating 4. Where is it at here? I think it's after. It's Velociraptors. So they have pack tactics. These are quarter. So if you cast a spell, you will be summoning 8 of these. If you cast this at 5th level, you will be summoning 16 of these. So on and so forth. So Velociraptors have pack tactics, which means they have advantage on an attack roll against any creature if at least one of the Velociraptor's allies are near it. And they have multi-attack, so they get a bite and a claw, which means if there's another Velociraptor near it, they get advantage on both the bite and the claw. They only have +4 to hit, but hey, if you got 16 of these things, you're going to roll some 20s, and you're going to crit. So that's an option, I would say, for half. Giant wasps are pretty good. Jaculis are not too bad. Giant dragonflies are not too bad. I think elk. Where are elk at? Elk are quarters. So elk is another one. A lot of these creatures have like something they can do on a charge, like knock you down or do extra damage or get extra attacks. Let's see. Let's go back up. Ape. I don't think apes. They have multi-attack. So there is that. Black bears have multi-attack and keen smell. Crocodiles have a swim speed. They only get 1 attack. Giant goats have a charge with a chance to knock something down. They have 1 attack. Giant wasps have a single sting, but it does poison damage, but it's a con save. Jaculi do spring attacks, and they have bites. Reef sharks obviously are no good unless you're in water. Swarms of insects, they're beasts, so you can summon those. Swarms of rock grubs. War horses are actually not bad. They get a trampling charge to knock things prone. For rank 1s, brown bears get multi-attack. They do quite a bit of damage. Deinonychus is the larger version of the Velociraptor. These are medium beasts. They get multi-attack, which is 3 attacks. And they have this pounce ability, which can knock things prone. And if you were to summon these, you can summon 2 of these. If you cast this at 5th level, you can summon 4 of these. So there is that. Dire wolves, giant hyenas, giant spiders. Those are all pretty good options. Tigers are a pretty good option. Allosaurus is one of our challenge rating 2s. We can silence 1, 2, 3, or 4 of these. They have a bite or a claw attack, and they have a pounce attack. They're large, so you have to watch out for that. I think there's giant elk in here. There's a giant boar, which has a charge attack and a tusk attack. These things they're pretty beefy too. Giant elk, there it is. Giant elks have a charge attack. They do extra damage. They can knock you prone. They have a ram attack. So just keep that all in mind. A rhinoceros is large. They have a charge attack. They can knock you prone. They do extra damage. Can't get up to 3. So there's quite a bit. So you can really overwhelm an opponent just literally, especially with some of these lower versions of the spell that are challenge rating half or less, where you can summon just dozens of creatures. And like I said, you can really overwhelm an opponent. Now, druids cast this spell, so what is the best druid circle or the subclass of druid that can cast these? So we've got Balm of the Summer Court. These are not really summoner druids. You've got a pool of Fey energy. Choose one creature you can see and spend a number of dice, and the target regains hit points. So they got a couple of different things. Circle of the Spore, not great for summoning animals. Circle of the Stars, again, not great for summoning. Circle of the Land, this one's a different one. So and there's a whole bunch of different spells for these too. Land Stride, Nature's Ward, Nature's Sanctuary. So they're okay. Circle of the Moon is the wild shape one. That's not great. Circle of the Shepherd. That's the one I'm looking for. So you have Speech of the Wood. So you can learn, speak, and write Sylvan, and additional beasts can understand you. Spirit Totem. You can call forth nature spirits to influence the world around you. If you have a bear spirit, grants you and your allies endurance. Each creature of your choice in an aura, when the spirit appears, gains temporary hit points. That's pretty nasty. In addition, you and your allies, because your conjured beasts are allies, and none of these things require concentration. And it's within 60 feet of you. That's pretty nasty. Aiding you and your allies with keen sight. When a creature makes an attack roll against a target in the spirit's aura, you can use your reaction to grant advantage to an attack roll. That's only against one thing. You and your allies gain advantage on all ability checks made to detect creatures in the spirit's aura. Mighty Summoner is the one. So creatures appear with more hit points, 2 extra hit points per hit die. The damage from its natural weapons is considered magical. That's pretty good. That goes well with Conjure Animals. Faithful Summons and Guardian Spirits also goes well too. Circle of the Wildfowl, not so much. So really, the best one is probably Circle of the Shepherd for this, because it goes well with these. And again, if you summon a brown bear, it's got 4 hit dice, so it'll end up with 8 more hit points than that. So that's pretty good. So you want to keep in mind all those different options. So I love this spell. It can really break encounters and overwhelm the enemy pretty fast, especially if you are a shepherd druid. So all right, that's what I got for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.